Welcome back to Fishing Discoveries, or welcome to it if it's your first ever visit. If you did catch the last episode, we left you with a bit of a deliberate cliffhanger, which was John's gift package, his special sort of care package, where he'd gone and done a trolley dash to kit me out completely with full method feeder rig. So we can both have a go at it side by side today and see how we go on. But I've got my little bag of delights here. It was a bit like a trolley dash and oldie, because when they tilled it up, it was like, you know, a new rod, all this sort of stuff, whatever else. It was like under 100 quid, wasn't it, for everything?
No.
It wasn't far off though, was it?
No, if we weren't buying bait and a couple of bank sticks,
yes,
then it would have come in at under 100 quid.
Hardware,
so,
I was going hardware.
The thing is, Paul doesn't own any rod rests or bank sticks, having been a fly fisher for the past probably 30 years.
Yeah, I want to say that. I think a lot of them just got absorbed into the family sort of kit. Mum and dad's garage back in Wigan, that kind of thing.
I've been to your mum and dad's house, and I've seen your brothers and nephew, and you couldn't leave tackle at Paul's mum and dad's along without one of the siblings running off with it. Do you want me to pass you stuff one at a time?
Yes, let's do it. I feel like I'm on Ready Steady Cook now. What am I going to make with this?
So I've actually gifted you this. The thing
the
inside
outside
it.
bit. Oh yeah.
So that is a bait strainer.
Yep.
Let's pull the label out, and this is the bait box that it sort of fits into, and that ties nicely in with this. This was a cheap part of the bait. This is basically a feed pellet for horsefish that you can buy at pretty much any fishing shop, and a lot of fisheries actually sell this on site, the commercial places. So this is going to get soaked in there. It only needs 2 minutes, so I'll probably not do it now, because
we'll get a timer on and do all that sort of thing.
And there's your bait strainer. And
special consistency on that. It's not just any old thing, is it? It's just enough. It's not sticky, but it molds. So that's really important for that.
They're measured in millimetres, so they're a 2 millimetre pellet, and the rule of thumb seems to be a millimetre for soaking. So a 2 mil pellet soak for 2 minutes, a 4 mil pellet soak for 4 minutes.
You heard it here first.
And you get a really nice consistency. I took the liberty of stealing half of these, so you've got half a pack of each of these. And I've got half of the same. So what we've got here is...
Oh, I'm with you. So you paid for them in the shop?
Yes.
Let's make that absolutely clear.
Yeah. There's not like,
You wore your special shopping coat, your long coat with the pockets.
There's not half a tub of those on the shop shelf somewhere.
You took half of the ones that we bought.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what we've got here is 6 millimetre and 8 millimetre, what they call bandems, and they're wafters. The thing with that is, if you throw one in now, it'd float. But if you put a hook on it, it's actually just enough to sink it.
Again, it's a nice thing, because again, what we're all about at Fishing Discoveries is that cross-pollination, understanding things. So if you're thinking about neutral buoyancy flies, like if you do any reservoir fly fishing, boobies with just the right sort of squeezed out foam that's just, it doesn't float, it doesn't sink, in neutral buoyancy. Same sort of thing, that's a very natural presentation in all kinds of fishing.
When it's sat in amongst these pellets, as we'll see later, when a fish sucks, because that's lighter than everything else, it's the first thing that goes in the mouth. So these are fluoro colour. I don't know if you can see them, so we'll
get some out. We'll get some close up in a bit.
And then there's some just out and out ones that are kind of pellet flavoured and pellet coloured, so they'll sit in the pellets. So
they're wafters rather than washters, right?
Your spare spool, yes.
Oh, brill, nice one.
So I've got you a nice rod rest head. This again, this was $9.99. The reason I've recommended this is when you're fishing method feeder and you're catching carp, the taits can be quite savage. They will literally rip the rod off the rest. So this has got a bendy bit, and you can make a hook for the feeder rod to pull against, as we'll see. So that's a nice bit of kit there. I
remember back in the day with some of the little homemade monkey climber indicators that we had, they'd shoot off the sticks, and if you reel one on free spool, the rod would be off the rest.
Yeah, you're looking at sort of anything from £5 to £10 in weight of fish
moving.
Yeah, and in the opposite direction. It's like tying your blind to a dog's collar and then throwing a stick to the dog. It absolutely takes off. There's a rear rest there for the back of the rod, and
nicely
somewhere down
size.
there you've got a couple of bank sticks that wouldn't fit in a paper bag.
There we go.
Yeah, so these were the cheapest I could find, while kind of being something that would last you a lifetime. Because what we don't want to do is buy twice. So these are about, I think these are $8.99 each. They're sort of zoomable, so you can kind of get it where you want, but then adjust the height. So two of those.
Chopper squadron's coming in.
Yeah. Whatever's that's doing to the sound, I've no idea. These are disgorgers, but the important part is they've got loop tyres on as well. They're not absolutely essential, so I'd not sort of include these on the tally of the price.
Two things on that. One, for people across the pond, disgorgers is it's a really easy way of popping hooks out of a fishing mouth, you know, without getting your fingers inside. The other interesting thing about this, it's got the loop tyre on, and we'll pick that up on our ladder leader stuff, our content on that as well. So again, cross-pollination, we're all about it.
Here's two method feeders, one to use, one for a spare, and a mould for moulding them. We did a little bit on that last time. You saw me loading a method feeder, and we'll probably do the same again, getting you loading a method feeder.
It may be worth us putting the link to that previous video or putting it in a playlist or whatever, so you can find it easily.
They didn't have any little end connections at the shop, so I've given you some of mine.
Oh,
so
bless him.
Yeah. So
it's, do you know, it's only because you fancy your chances on this as a head-to-head thing.
I don't want any excuses. I don't want any excuses.
Sit there and take it.
As promised, again, this is sort of, it don't really belong on the budget for the setting up for method feeder, but we wanted to smash the tackle before we even get it out. That's a hook length box, which we were talking about. You actually use one for fly fishing for our ladder leader, which is a completely different story. Probably best saved for another day. So that's your hook box, and we've got ready-made hook links, which probably do belong on the budget, because if you want to get started for the first time, they are nearly as cheap as buying a packet of hooks and all the accoutrements to produce it. So you've got three sizes there. We'll probably look
ready
at that.
Banded as well.
Nice
knotless knot rig, everything
and
like that.
For putting pellets inside the bands, we've got this what looks like some kind of surgical tool.
I think that's what's been inside my knee last week.
Knee operation.
You might notice I'm reclining a bit today and sitting fairly still.
So that's a pellet banding tool, and there's also a few hooks and bands in there for making your own rigs later. So that is pretty much all the tackle. We'll have a bit of a cut there and get the rod out. You can get the rod out and have a look.
New rod. How much is that rod?
£39.99. And it comes with two quiver tips.
It's really nice.
Fantastic though. So I'm going to jump behind the camera while Paul unveils, mainly because my legs are absolutely killing me crouching in this position.
We'll get the winch out.
So you'll be ready to unpack that rod.
I'll get on it.
Rolling, so show us your rod, Paul. Show us your new rod. For anyone interested, it's a Mavert Reality 10-foot feeder rod.
I don't know which tip's going to come out first, but...
I had the correct tip fitted in the shop.
Nice.
There's two, one slightly heavier than the other. So this is tip number 2 for anyone that buys one of these rods or owns one already.
There's a little tag I need to cut off that, but what I'll do, I'll fit it together and then we'll snip it off. Get the eyes lined up, with the eyes lined up.
Oh, we've got plastic on the angle. Angle? The little angle. We've got plastic on the handle, which is the amateur error. I've seen 1 or 2 people leave the plastic on for decades, I want to say.
You get that nice green sort of mould.
Yeah, if you want your cork to go mouldy, by all means leave on the plastic. But cork's a wonderful natural material that needs to breathe, so get that plastic off. So first impressions on your new rod, just a quick wiggle, like kicking the tyres on a new car.
Yeah, I mean, I obviously like to cast it, but I mean, it feels great in the hand. I mean, for the price as well, the finish is really nice.
I'll tell you what, let's get all your stuff unpacked, your rod rests in the ground, with the rod facing the right way. Yeah,
we'll get that laid up so we don't have to put it down on the ground for setting up.
Let's get the rod threaded up, and then we'll come back and actually go through getting your first method feeder rig and fishing.
But what's quite nice is that, and there's a full diagram of this on the method feeder thing, is that you get to assemble that whole sort of system with the quick release bead.
Let me come in close and just let's excuse the wobbly camera work.
Well, you can see how bad or how good the picture is that I did. So you got tube threaded on your line.
Keep it still.
Well,
let me zoom in. Here we go. 1 second, folks. So, talk us through it, Paul.
So yeah, so this is the tube that your main reel line is threaded through.
Yeah. Top of the picture is back to the rod tip and reel.
Yeah.
At bottom of the picture is where the hook's going to go eventually.
Yeah, towards your hook length. There's a little retainer bead there, and then this is the key thing. Attach that with a knot. Yeah, I'm just holding it for you there, folks, if you can get in on that.
I think I can see that.
That is knotted to the end of your reel line, but then there's a clip that you can see there, and that's what the loop from your hook link actually loops onto. And the clever thing is that little sleeve hides the open end of that loop, so you can't lose your hook link loop to loop connection.
And you can just reveal that whole sort of unit now, Paul. I'll make sure it's in focus. You can leave that on the rod set up at the end of the line, so you basically you're free to drop. Just hold that at the side of it. We'll do this in a minute. That fits onto that tube in a very sort of neat and well thought out way. So let's.
Well, we'll show the big reveal of that. As I say, there is diagrams that I've done on the method feeder article if you need to get more fully into the detail there. It's like a schematic, so yeah. Yeah.
So next thing is for you to attach a bomb to that and cast it out to the island, which is all the way over there, and we want to see how close you can get. So let's just quick cut there and get the bomb on. Okay.
So just as a quick one, so I've put a bomb on instead of the feeder.
Let me just show folks that.
So that will slide on in the same system, no problem.
Yeah.
If you've not got a separate one of them, do it with your feeder, but don't put your hook length on.
Yeah.
Because if you blast it into the tree first cast, you don't want a hook on there. So you want something that you got half a chance of getting back.
The advantage of the bomb over the feeder is that there's absolutely no little fins or connections on it that can snag in anything. So if you do put it in the tree, which I hope you don't, err on the side of caution. Let me step back and see if I can get the whole action. There we go. See if you get
See if we've got actually any muscle memory for casting.
Yeah, leave enough space for me to fish as well.
Yeah, you ready?
Yep. Oh, bullseye!
Still got it.
So you want to clip up with your rod tip just up, like almost 90 degrees, let's say.
Yeah. So they can lower it down into that position at the end of the cast.
About there, yeah. So clip up there. Let me just bring it in and show the line clip on the reel there. So yeah, turn it this way a bit if you can, so I can see that clip.
I might have to obscure it with my thumb to just feed it round behind
see
it.
it first. Just reveal your thumb.
Can you see that?
Hang on. Here we go.
To me, to you.
So just point at the line clip now.
That's
the line clip for those that have never used a fixed spool reel, and for those that haven't, have always wondered what it was.
Yeah, it's not just for holding your line at the end when you finish fishing.
Yeah. So that's in the clip now, and Paul can repetitively cast to that same spot. And because we're fishing to a feature, an island, there's not a huge chance of the fish running in the opposite direction. So the chances of that sort of pulling tight to the clip and pulling the rod in are minimal.
And you got a lot of stretch in that line.
Yeah, it's about 20% stretch. So
a daft thing that says, again, if you're switching from fly fishing to coarse fishing and using fixed spool reels, never have slack line when you start turning the handle on these things, because it'll just turn into like a monkey's fist of a knot. So if you need to, just put a little bit of tension between your fingers until you come tight to that, and then it'll lay that line on nicely for you. I learned that the hard way as a kid from unpicking countless tangles.
Yeah, it's the sort of apprenticeship of a child coarse fisher, isn't it? Is picking line from behind the spool.
Or having my dad do it. So I know with my kids, I've got that penance to serve, to pay back that karmic justice from my dad picking, undoing those Medusa's knots. So
let's get rigged up properly. I'll tell you something that we need to do that I've noticed that's not been done, and that's soak those pellets. So let's have a quick look at that. So in Paul's enthusiasm, he's nearly ready to fish, and the pellets have not been soaked. So we have a strainer there, about nearly full of 2mm pellets. What I'm going to do is get a scoop of water there, and dunk those in. Just enough water to cover.
Sweet.
And the next thing to do is set my timer on my phone, which is set to 2 minutes. You can tell what I do.
I wonder how you spend your time.
So we've got 2 minutes ticking away there. In 2 minutes time, we'll just lift that strainer out and get rid of the water. So listen for the beep. Let's see if we can get
That's
you
just slotted on there just as quickly as that as well.
In under 2 minutes. So apologies if I'm on the edge of the shot, looking like a slight sort of profile poking in, but let's get through this. So the next thing you want is a hook length.
Well, we go into 12s probably.
Yep. And let's go for an 8mm banding for that. So I'm getting a banding out.
You're, again, just obvious things, but you're better off pulling them from the hook end than trying to fettle the loop on.
Yeah. What colour do you want? We've got a choice. The flavour is fluoro.
The fluoro flavour, huh?
It's,
natural. Colours found in nature.
It's like a Halloween bag of candy.
I'm going to go orange, I think.
Yeah. Okay. From fly fishing, that murky sort of brown water, orange is a great visibility thing. So
well, they'll not miss it. I know that. You know, it's giving us data, isn't it? You know.
Yeah.
What I'm struggling to do is get that.
Oh,
there we go.
Yeah, welcome to my world. It's murder on soft fingernails.
So that's slid in there. Got that nice and safe.
Yep, just like we said. And then the next thing you want is your banding tool.
Oh, that hooked a sharp.
Yep. I don't think they write that on the packet these days.
Just because on the end.
So yeah, let's have a close up of this. I think we did last time, but
well, it's a very slightly different tool, isn't it?
Just a different brand, but it's a different brand of the same thing. So
yeah. So I'll do that again. You got focus there.
Yeah.
So that's my little bit of silicone there.
Yeah.
Band, and then magic.
Yeah.
Look at that.
And that's
oh,
the
2
pellets,
minutes.
That's the pellets ready. So if you just want to grab that strainer and pull it out, Paul.
Done to a T. It is ready, steady cut.
Yeah. So there's the pellets, nicely drained, and we'll be seeing those in a minute. You can tip that water back in the lake.
Yeah. See the level rise.
Yeah. So back to the banding tool. Let me zoom in and focus. So let's have a look.
I'll put the hook so you can see it as well a little bit.
There we go. So banders that bandem.
Bandem. Well, look.
Bandems.
I know. I wonder how they came up with that. There's a little ridge in the middle of them, which helps because when that sits just on there. There you go.
So talk us through the hair rig while we've got it in beautiful close up.
Classic. I mean, originally the thought back in the day, the thoughts behind it, and I think they did actually use hairs off people's heads, was that you could attach a bait to a hook where it was like absolutely free moving, and you know these wily carp wouldn't know the difference between the bait wafting around, but you'd actually be attached to the fish by a very strong piece of line. However, we've actually now realised that it's more important the position of the, you can get your neutral buoyancy by the types of bait that you use, and the ease with which the fish actually sucks in the bait. That comes from the new, let's say, bait technology. But it just beautifully aligns the way that piece of line there that is actually knotted to the band itself. It means that as a fish sucks in that bait, if it decides it doesn't quite like it and goes to blow it out again, it means that hook point travels and actually catches.
Yeah, the take home really is the hook, rather than the bait having the hook buried in it.
Yeah.
The hook's completely free, and fish really don't associate that hook with anything.
Yeah.
It's not part of the bait, and the sort of, it's not a conscious process. It's just
it goes back to and it goes back to that background noise thing which comes up all the time in stuff that I write about. It's signals, what's signal, which is important, food, and what's noise, and anything that's not food or a predator is sort of noise really.
So, in the words of one of my favourite YouTube commenters on our stuff, quit your jibber jabber and pick up those pellets and let's have them. You might want to put them inside, unless you want wet knees. You might want to put them inside a bait box.
I'm going to put them in a slightly bigger bait box so I can get my fingers around the end.
Yeah.
I'm just going to dump them straight in like this.
Okay, let me See that? Go for it. It's like ready, steady, cook.
It is. I said. You know, I called it.
Yeah.
This is why you might see people wearing, sensible people like John, wearing a lap towel, or belt and bib and braces and whatever else. I need to say belt and braces.
Yeah, it's a messy job. So you've got your mould.
Well, these smell good. They smell like I'll have these for breakfast.
Yeah, sort of, well, fish meal.
Yeah. Oops. Let me just slide that down.
Yeah. Here we go. This is Paul's first time, folks. So forgive him a bit of fingers and thumbs and a nuss. So the bait goes in the feeder first.
For this setup, I'm going to do it with the bait on top, because whatever goes in first is what's going to sit on the top when you're done.
Close in on that and just show folks what we're starting with. So we're starting with the bait inside the feeder, and the crucial thing is the hooks sticking out sort of flat. The line sticking out.
Carp
flat.
out there then.
Well, yeah, it's not
Concentrate.
in shot. It's not in shot, so it doesn't exist. Next thing is to shovel a handful of bait in there. So just fill that up and show us what we've got.
Sort of fill it to the brim.
Yeah, seen a lot of hand, not so much. There we go. Look at that. So that's kind of full level to the top, and then you'll notice that the feeder is the same size as the mould.
Who knew?
Thunk it.
The other thing is that loop, that hook length loop, is you know, it's not snarled around anything, and it is like a nice little hinge, like a. That just goes in there. You don't want to death grip it, because you don't want it so tightly packed that the pellets don't sort of move off the feeder once you've cast it. But at the same time, you don't want them flying off when it's actually in flight. There's little fins at the side. When you pop those out, you can actually do it on your hand if you like. I'll do it that way.
Yeah. So that is. Let me see how close I dare get to that before the focus completely screws up. You can see there's lots of tasty looking food, and right in the middle is our orange hook bait with a hair rig. So the first time a fish comes snaffling over that, the lightest thing there is the wafted and neutral buoyancy hook bait. Now, only your second cast of the day. You've got a fully loaded feeder that took all of that time, whatever. We've been rolling about 8 minutes on this take. So now you can try and blow it by missing the island or doing a short cast. So tips I give you for fishing clipped up, you want to be slightly overpowered but not by much, and then really soft grip on the rod holding it vertically. So when that sort of weight hits the clip, you've got a bit of forgivingness in your arm as well as the rod.
I'm going to try and call on some of the bait casting lure sort of feathering ability and see how that goes.
Let's see.
Oh, it's too short. It's well short. It's a disaster.
And that feeder will be completely empty now.
Well,
so as Paul's re-rigging, what we'll see is like a huge amount of activity, bubbles where that feeder just landed, where he's fetched all the carp off the island out into the middle of the lake.
I think the difference between the bomb and the feeder is an interesting one to see.
Yeah, let's put this on the tripod. There we go.
But we know the process now. I can just fill that up like that.
Yeah, it's a pretty quick turnaround. I've really just come in front of the camera to gloat.
The thing is, this is where, if you are fishing competitively, the speed and the practice with which you can turn this stuff around is key.
Yeah,
that's what makes a difference.
Are you ready to cast again? I wasn't expecting it to be that quick, Paul. So props.
Listen, I was demoing before. I was walking people through baby
steps. For your skills. Let's see it that island then. It's going to be so powerful now. It punches a hole through space and time.
There we go.
There we go. Right where I'm going to be fishing.
Well, again, I'm taking every advantage possible.
So yeah, what your error might be now is you've not allowed for the rod rest.
Yeah.
But
we'll get us started.
Yeah, we can give you another go. What I would say is give it 5 minutes in that spot, and if you've not, well, I would say. What I would say is let's come round and stand right where you're going to want to strike. So on somewhere where you've got quite a few fish, which we know there are here from last time, I wouldn't leave it more than 10 or 15 minutes if I've not had a fish. That feeder's either not doing its job, or fish have come on and it's empty. If you see a bite on the tip of that rod, that means there's a fish had a go at your bait, and if there's a fish where your bait is, it's going to have cleaned that bait out in a matter of seconds. A few good gulps and swallows around that bait and the bait's going to be gone. You've seen how concentrated it is. So if you get a bite, if it doesn't develop into something you want to strike at, I kind of set a clock at 2 minutes, and if I don't get a fish within 2 minutes of that bite, the fish have probably cleaned out all the bait and gone. So
I'm watching over your shoulder.
I'm going to get out of your way. Give that, you know.
I'm going to get myself a little bait table set up on this side.
Yeah, give yourself, you know, 5-10 minutes on that, and then cast again and see if you get it on.
I will steer left foot.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm going to set up now. I had 2 fish before Paul was set up last time, so let's see if Paul can get 2 fish before I'm set up.
Well, I'm going to be recasting in a matter of seconds if that's the game, if that's the play.
Okay. Well, I'm going to leave this rolling on you. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, don't you stay clear of that line.
I can feel the sun on the back of my neck. I'm just going to position my hood so I don't get that classic redneck burn.
Oh yeah.
Ooh.
Was that a duck?
It's a fish. I thought the ducks were near my line, so I thought it was a duck, but it's a fish.
Good lad.
Okay, quick time check. 11:13, so that's 30 minutes.
Yeah, keep it off that.
Yeah,
You're well clear of that.
Well clear of that this time. But it's pulling like a good one. I don't think we'll be disappointed with this. It feels like a carp.
You on this net? Oh, you got your.
I've got my new, improved, identical but bigger net.
We had some fun. I mean, again, harking back to the other episode. The first time I came here.
In danger of wiping you out there. Sorry.
Oh, well.
Don't worry. Your line should be pretty well sunk by now.
Yeah.
Pulling like a good one.
Yeah, it's good bending, Rod.
Yeah.
It had that sort of ponderous, patient look of a slightly better fish.
So I've got my net ready. When I get my rod rest set up on this box, it's really nice because it kind of has the net in the sort of ready to use position without me needing to keep hold of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one.
So the tail pointing out at us. That pineapple.
Yeah. I can sell you some.
Well, if you...
They've not got any in shop, but you're welcome to a few if you want. Wow. You don't like it up them?
We were saying the other day that for the size they kept their heads down really well, didn't they?
I can say, you know, it's quite a popular venue obviously, and a lot of these pellets, these feed pellets, are really, you know, kind of scientifically designed to feed coarse fish because they're used in stock ponds. That's where they originally come from.
Yeah.
So they're giving them like an athlete's diet, really, aren't they?
Oh, it's coming.
Yeah.
Oh, he's done a John Wilson in the net.
He's gone right round the back of the net. Naughty fish.
You're giving us every chance to pull that one back. It's a nice looking fish.
Yeah. Okay. It's a deeper net.
Is it about 6.5? 7?
Give yourself 5 3/4, £6 for that. He's not as broad across the shoulders as some.
No, it's a strong fish though.
Yeah, it's not bad. Let's get him straight back. Let's call it 6 for rounding up purposes. Time check, it's 11:18. I've just put that £6 common back.
Not across the streams.
No. left me much there, Paul.
Sorry.
It's all right. I'll manage. Okay. We're pretty close there.
Yeah. I'm going to keep hold of this because I don't want to pull it back off that line and come quite tight up to the clip now.
It's
And because
11,
it is a bit, because it is a bit to my
11:19.
right. Sorry?
It's 11:19 just for a quick time check.
Yeah.
A little knock.
Oh, yeah. We're in.
You're in?
Yeah.
Excellent. I was just going to say it'd be nice if we could both get into fish within the hour. Oh, I've just had a real banging tape.
Unless it was me.
No, it got that definite look of the feeder getting pulled along.
Yeah. Bream, I think.
Yeah. That's why the flight's much shorter.
Yeah.
If you watch the last one, they've got all the flight of the wet bin bag. Well done though.
Yeah, so. Interesting now that, again, change of bait. You know.
Flick your bail arm off, and it doesn't matter what you do then, you'll not break the end of the rod off. You're never going to pull so much line off that you'll end up with tangles everywhere.
What I'm going to do.
I can see you've got all kinds of mess. Put the net between your knees. Yeah, you're going to get wet knees.
Perfect in the middle of the bottom lip.
Yeah, that's classic sort of bolt rig, hair rig, hooking position that.
Yeah. I'm not going to hold him up because I'd rather not get covered in snot.
Yeah, we had bream. I can supplement a similar size bream as a photo. They're not pleasant to touch. That's for sure.
Look, in fact, I don't know if that...
Yeah, it looks like someone's blown the nose on your line. Bump again. Yeah. I sort of wonder if it was a line bite because the tip really pulled round and then got, well, there we go.
A Brahmis? Oh no.
No, this is almost certainly a carp. And it's pulling some as well. Oh.
Off.
Yeah.
Bugger it.
Hook's still on, so just shed the hook. Smart fish. They're not smart, they're dumb as a rock. Just a lucky fish. It's an easy excuse, isn't it, when you get a bit of bad luck or bad angling, to give the fish some credit.
Yeah.
It's 11:40, so 3 minutes to the hour, let's say. So I've managed to hook 3.
That's a carp.
There we go. Well done, I can hear that drag.
That ain't no bream bite.
Don't worry about wiping me out if you cross me.
It is actually it's kiting away from me, so I should be able to keep us fairly safe for the bit of it.
Well, that's yeah. You've got a couple of fish within the hour. You're going to want a bit more line out for the netting process, I think. Came at you pretty quick there, didn't he?
He did. He swam straight towards me. He just wanted to say hello.
Yeah. He's giving you an easy time than they've given me.
Try and do some turning. Practice my 10 aeroplane. I might be able to trick him to swim in the net, actually.
Yeah.
He does that again.
No, that turns out. How are you finding that rod?
It's really nice. It's ideal.
Looks a lovely bend on it.
Yeah, it's ideal.
Enough power, but soft enough to absorb your lunges. Didn't seem too shabby at casting either.
No, it's, well, you know, you saw that first shot with the bomb.
Yeah.
He's woke up a bit now, but
It's probably got enough backbone in it to fish a small river as well.
yeah. Yeah, I probably wouldn't take it on the Trent for double figure barbels, but
There's some nice stretches. I'm thinking in Nottingham. There's some nice slow stretches with lots of silverfish, where you could probably have a nice session fishing. You know, about the range we're fishing now, but in the river. So it's 11:42. You're within a minute. It's on the bank, but in the 59th minute.
there we go.
Well done, Paul. I can't even see if there's a battery indicator on this. Yeah, red warning light. So I'm going to wind this in, change battery. It's been a good hour of friendly banter and competition. I'd put us on a draw, but it's what I expected. Yeah, he says. Well, I think you've given a good account yourself from last time. You know,
No,
those silvers were never in danger of catching up with the weight of carp.
no, it was literally it was half the way. I mean, I felt quite pleased with myself to stay even, you know, in half the weight, because it's just impossible if you're catching carp regularly on method. Good luck winding somebody in by catching silverfish. You know?
Yeah. So we'll say our goodbyes at that. Yeah, it's been a.
We'll show up any photos of any specimens we got and as a closing screen.
Yeah. Okay, I can turn the camera off from here, so I don't really need to worry about all of that. So it's goodbye from me, and
It's goodbye from him.